These are the AirPods 4 with active noise cancelling, and they are brilliant, but also there's one big caveat that you need to be aware of before buying these. Okay, firstly, if I look terrible, it's because I'm not very well, but it is iPhone/AirPods/Apple Watch season, so I just have to suck it up and crack on. So apologies for the dishevelled appearance, that's why. However, I had to turn the camera on today because I want to talk about the AirPods 4 with active noise cancelling, which I think are an incredibly tempting proposition for a lot of people. But it's important that you watch this video because there's one thing, as I mentioned in the intro, which I'll come on to that. Firstly though, just a bit of gushing about the AirPods Pro 2. These are my favourite earbuds of all time. I've missed these, so basically if you weren't aware, I've spent quite a bit of time away from the iPhone this year. I've been using Samsung phones and all sorts of stuff. I've come back to the iPhone now that we have the iPhone the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and as a result, my daily earbuds have once again become the AirPods Pro 2. And I realised this morning actually that I think of all the things that I've missed having been away from the iPhone, these are the biggest thing. It's the ease of use, it's the sound, it's the comfort, the fit, everything about, and the noise cancelling is just unbelievable on these. These are pretty much as good as the AirPods Max, whatever version this is, that they're just utterly fantastic. So when Apple announced the AirPods 4 a couple of weeks ago during the iPhone 16 announcement, and they said you can basically get the same looking buds, so they look very similar to the AirPods Pro 2, and you have a version with active noise cancelling for 50 quid less, I thought, and which make a noise, I thought, yes please. And if you're trying to work out whether to buy the AirPods 4 with ANC or the AirPods Pro 2, this is the video to watch. And although this video isn't sponsored, I do have some fantastic brand partners who help me keep the lights on here. One of those is Brain FM, and Brain FM is basically an app which pipes music and sounds into your head, which are designed to make you more productive. It works for me. I basically cannot do any kind of writing, any kind of deep work without Brain FM. It's not guaranteed to help you at all, but if you struggle to concentrate and you find that listening to regular music, or as I used to, movie theme tracks, doesn't quite work, movie soundtracks, if that doesn't quite work for you, I really recommend trying out Brain FM. That's all I'm going to say about it. I've got a fantastic deal for you, which is down below in the description, so to find out more, just click that link. Okay, let's go through the specs and the pricing of the AirPods 4 with ANC. So they have a custom high excursion Apple driver. They've got a custom high dynamic range amplifier. They've got active noise cancelling, obviously, adaptive audio, transparency mode, which is when you let the outside world in so you can hear what's going on. Conversation awareness, which is this thing where if you're listening to stuff on these and you walk up to someone and start talking, it recognizes you're talking and dips the volume while you're talking and then raises it back up so you can crack on with listening to whatever it is you're listening to. Personalized spatial audio with dynamic head tracking. I won't go into detail on that, but that's basically when you've got these earbuds in, you're watching a movie, let's say, on your iPhone, and it sounds like the audio is coming from the phone. So if you turn your head, it stays there. That's the head tracking thing. It's absolutely bonkers. There's adaptive EQ, the H2 chip, which enables most of the stuff that I've just mentioned. IP54 dust, sweat, and water resistance. A wireless, I've picked up the wrong ones, a wireless charging case with a speaker in it, which doesn't always work. That case is wireless charging enabled as well. When it comes to the battery, you get 4 hours of charge from the buds with ANC turned on and 5 hours with it turned off. With the case, you get 20 hours in total with ANC turned on and 30 hours with it turned off. The price is £179 in the UK or $179 in the US. And if you want the version of these without the active noise cancelling, which also means you don't get that slightly annoying speaker on here as well, or the wireless charging and a few other bits and pieces, that price drops to £129 or $129, which I think, given Apple's normal pricing strategy, which is let's go on the premium side of the scale, these are really tempting. Let's talk about sound, and I think although these are the ANC version of the AirPods 4, I think what I'm about to say will apply to the regular AirPods 4 as well, because they're the same driver, same speaker configuration. They should sound the same basically, and the good news is they sound really, really good. And these sit in a weird kind of sub £200, sub $200 category, and there's not that many buds in that category, particularly with noise cancelling, that stand against these. If you're aware of a pair, let me know, please. Admittedly, most of the earbuds I've tested this year are £200 plus because they have active noise cancelling with the rubber tip, which I'll come on to later. But in terms of a non-rubber tipped active noise cancelling earbud, these stand alone. And going back to the sound, it's great. I mean, you're not going to get audiophile quality on these because they're not an audiophile pair of earbuds. But in terms of that kind of rich, full-bodied sound that that we've had from AirPods Pro and recent AirPods, it's present and correct in here. They sound fantastic. They deal with most types of music really well. Podcasts sound great on this. Basically, if you want a pair of earbuds that are going to serve you very, very well every single day, whether you're listening to your favourite playlist, listening to podcasts, or you're watching a movie or a TV series on the train on the way to work, AirPods are very, very hard to beat. When it comes to active noise cancelling, they do as good a job as they can. Remember, they don't have a silicone tip on here, unlike the AirPods Pro 2, which have this. That means that you don't get as good a seal on these in your ear as you do with these, and consequently that means that some of the outside world still creeps in, depending on how well these fit in your ears, which I'll come on to in a moment. But for me, they did an adequate job based on the price and based on the fact you don't get a full-on proper seal in your ear. So if you're in a coffee shop or another very noisy environment, like walking down a high street, you're going to hear stuff still. It's just a bit dampened, and I think that's all Apple could do. I think that's fair enough. And again, there's not much competition for these. These are sitting on in a class of their own. Basically, if you're looking for a cheaper version of the AirPods Pro 2 and you want some form of active noise cancelling, you won't be disappointed. So it's quite simple so far, this review. They're priced well, they sound really good, the active noise cancelling is as good as it can be. The transparency mode, which is when you turn off noise cancelling and let the outside world in, works really well, which means these are fantastic for calls. If you're buying these as well to make telephone calls as well as listen to stuff, again, they're pretty much unmatched, apart from with the AirPods Pro 2, but against everything else, every other brand, they are just unbeatable. There's just one big frustration, which brings me on to the fit and comfort. So when Apple announced the AirPods 4, they said they've made the most comfortable AirPods ever, and they've redesigned them to fit in as many different ears as possible. And firstly, that is not a task I would relish myself, because we've all got different ears, and designing a pair of mass market earbuds to fit in as many different ears as possible cannot be an easy thing. The question is, have they done it? And the answer to that is completely impossible for me to answer, because I can't go and try these on in everyone's ears. That doesn't work. However, I can work on my own experience, and what I realised when I first got these and put them into my ears is that I've got so used to the AirPods Pro 2, which fit perfectly. I've never had a problem with AirPods Pro thanks to that silicone tip. They just fit in and I can do pretty much anything and they don't fall out. And it maintains that seal for active noise cancelling. What I realised is that I'd completely forgotten that before AirPods Pro, when I used to use the original AirPods, what were they called? The AirPods, the ones with the cable, and the original AirPods, is that my left ear isn't compatible with them. So it's sitting there now, but I constantly, every 20-30 seconds, have to do that to kind of reseat it, if you like. The right-hand side one, no problem at all. That will stay in all day long. That feels much more comfortable. The left one, nah. So when I'm sitting stationary like this, like I say, I have to keep readjusting it. Any kind of physical exercise, running, weights, anything where I'm moving my head a bit and what have you, it's an absolute no-go. This just loosens and loosens and loosens until it's kind of hanging on the edge of my ear, waiting to fall off and be lost forever. So for me, straight up, they don't work. So whatever Apple has done to redesign these and try and get them to fit as many ears as possible hasn't worked for my left ear. And I don't think I'm alone with this. I think other people that I've heard review AirPods 4 and talk about this in the past have said the same thing, that they have issues with either the left or the right ear. I think even MKBHD, I think the man himself, I think he has an issue with it. Don't quote me on that, but I'm fairly sure that's the case. You may not though. You may have always worn AirPods or AirPods, non-AirPods, Pro AirPods. It's getting confusing. Basically, you may have absolutely no problem with these whatsoever. But that is why you need to try these before committing to them. So thankfully, Apple does have a very good returns policy. I'm not sure what you can do in the shop. If you go to an Apple store, I genuinely don't know if you can try AirPods before buying them, because there's all sorts of hygiene things there. But if they do that, fantastic. In fact, if you know if they do that, let everyone know in the comments down below. If they do that, fantastic. If not, I would rely on their very good returns policy. And if you put these in your ears and within a few seconds you think, hang on, like straight away, I know that's not a good fit, send them back and get yourself a pair of AirPods Pro 2. These are 50 quid more expensive, but I can't guarantee, but I can almost guarantee there's a very good chance that just like myself, they will fit and stay perfectly. It's such a shame for me because I love these AirPods 4. They sound great. The design is fantastic. You know, if you look at these compared to the AirPods Pro, they're very, very similar. The AirPods 4 are slightly smaller. You really have to kind of A/B test the two to realize that. The case, if you watch this channel, you know how obsessed I am about headphone cases. That is the AirPods 4 case. I think it's the smallest case Apple has ever made for a pair of AirPods, and it's just joyful as a result. It's so small. And because this one has the speaker built into it, which means you can find them easily and all that sort of stuff, and it has wireless charging, it's an absolute joy. It's not waterproof, which is a bit of a shame, but it's so small. It fits in any pocket. So I love everything about these apart from that fit. And I think I'm just unlucky. I think my left ear is just not, it must have missed Apple's testing for ears. There must be, this ear type here must have slipped the net, or they looked at it and thought there's only 2 or 3 people possibly in the world with that ear. So let's forget about it. And this brings me to my inevitable conclusion about the AirPods 4 with ANC. I love simple conclusions, and the AirPods 4, both the ANC version and the non-ANC version, are about the easiest product to conclude and give you buying guidance on. Basically, if you want the cheapest AirPods available and you don't care about active noise cancelling or any of the bells and whistles that you get with the ANC version or the AirPods Pro 2, just get the $129, 129 quid AirPods 4 without active noise cancelling. I think for that price they are fantastic. Given the sound, given the design and the case and the all the stuff in the Apple ecosystem, they're an absolute no-brainer. And ironically, they have the H2 chip in, which makes them better than the 500 quid AirPods Max. If you want the ANC version, get them. Basically, just get them. Just bear in mind the fit. Try them. If you can try them beforehand, please do. If you can't and you get them, use that 2-week or whatever it is in your country, the return period that Apple offers, to make sure they fit you and that they're fit for purpose. If they're not, get the AirPods Pro 2. Yes, they're more expensive, and yes, there are other alternatives on the market, but you've got an iPhone. If you're watching this video, you've definitely got an iPhone, you're an Apple person, and you want a pair of AirPods. And the great thing is now we have choice. I just hope if you go for the AirPods 4 or the AirPods 4 with ANC, they fit your ears perfectly, unlike me. I hope your ears aren't like my left ear. I hope they fit into Apple's research and development. Fingers crossed they do. But yeah, a solid release. I'm just really disappointed my left ear is a bit weird. And if you've still got some time, hang around for a link to the video where I talk about the AirPods Max with USB-C.